$40 million. A mid-season shock. And whispers that go far beyond football. Could Travis Hunter really be ready to drop the biggest bomb of the season, not on the field, but in his own life? Something messy is brewing, a secret that could shatter a marriage, split a locker room, and leave fans scrambling for answers. You think you know the Jaguars. But what is happening behind closed doors? Watch closely, because this story is about to explode on. Every detail matters. $40 million divorce, Mr. Hunter. $40 million. Could Travis Hunter really be ready to drop the biggest shock of the season? A mid-season move? Right now, the buzz is not about game plans, money, or stats. It is about something far messier. Rumor has it, this situation is not about football, it is about his wife, Liana. People are whispering that someone on his own Jaguars team may have gotten way too close to her. And when I say too close, you already know what that means. This is not a friendly pat on the back or casual hangout. These are rumors that could shatter a marriage and split a locker room. And the timing makes it even crazier. This is not your usual off-season trade or a quiet roster adjustment. This is something entirely different, a mid-season bombshell, dropping right when the team needs its star player the most. Normally, you expect roster moves in carefully planned windows, quiet negotiations behind closed doors, and official statements that keep everything neat and professional. But this is not one of those times. According to people following the story closely, this situation is personal. It is messy. It is the kind of drama that even the most seasoned, veteran players would think twice about getting involved in. The tension is so thick that just walking into the locker room could feel like stepping into a minefield, if even half of what the rumors claim is true. Then Travis walking away might actually be the least dramatic part of the story. It is not just about a mid-season exit or a shift in the team's lineup. There is a storm brewing behind the scenes. One that has been quietly building for months, and it is about far more than football. Old clips are resurfacing, fans are replaying them with a sharper eye, and whispers from the locker room are getting louder, painting a picture of a team quietly fraying at the edges. Even subtle things, like teammates not laughing together on the sidelines or a star player standing alone during warm-ups, start to take on meaning when you know what is really going on. The cracks in Travis's marriage have been visible for months, though they were easy to miss if you were only paying attention to the game. Small hints, awkward moments at public events, and the occasional tense body language all added up over time. For someone like Travis, whose life is usually in the spotlight, these tiny details are not so easy to hide. Fans began noticing them, piecing together what might be happening behind closed doors. The quiet shifts, the way he would avoid certain teammates, the way his interactions felt more reserved. Even the way he carried himself on and off the field started to tell a story that no one could ignore. When a professional athlete considers leaving mid-season because of personal issues, it is more than just news. It is headline-making material. It is the kind of story that dominates social media, bleeds into sports commentary, and sparks endless speculation among fans. The fact that Travis has kept silent only makes it worse. No posts, no explanations, no cryptic statements to set the record straight, nothing. That silence leaves fans and analysts alike scrambling to fill in the gaps, creating theories that range from plausible to completely wild. The mystery alone adds a level of intrigue that makes every practice, every sideline photo, and every interview worth watching with extra attention. The mid-season timing makes the situation even more explosive. Usually, if a player leaves, it happens at the end of the season, giving the team time to plan, coaches time to adjust, and fans time to process. This, however, is unfolding in real time, disrupting the team's rhythm and leaving everyone on edge. The Jaguars, a team that relies heavily on cohesion and trust, suddenly has to navigate this unexpected tension while still competing at the highest level. The effect on team dynamics is impossible to underestimate. Teammates are caught in a delicate balance, unsure how to interact with a player at the center of rumors that touch both personal and professional lives. And the rumors are not just whispers. They are building a narrative that fans are consuming eagerly, dissecting every detail. Clips of Travis with his wife Liana are being analyzed frame by frame, while shots of him during practice, sideline interactions, and public appearances are being examined for signs of tension or discomfort. The internet is full of theory threads, social media posts, and discussions trying to connect the dots between what fans have seen and what might be happening behind closed doors. The speculation is relentless, and for good reason. When a mid-season exit is paired with personal drama, it is the kind of story that lingers in the public consciousness long after the final whistle blows. Even veteran players in the locker room have reportedly noticed the shift. Those who have been around the game long enough to handle on-field rivalries and media pressure are being extra careful now. Nobody wants to be caught in the crossfire of something that could get messy, and yet everyone has to keep playing, keep training, and keep the team together. The tension, combined with the uncertainty, is a challenge in itself. Coaches, staff, and players all have to adjust to a situation that they never expected and that cannot be easily controlled. If Travis does leave, the move will be more than a trade or roster change. It will be a reflection of months of personal strain, tension, and fractured trust. It will be a story not just about football, but about the challenges that athletes face when personal and professional lives collide in public view. Fans and analysts alike are waiting for that moment, the one where the quiet speculation finally becomes reality. Until then, every glance, every sideline interaction, every social media absence is being scrutinized for meaning, feeding a story that has already captured the attention of the league, the team, and the public. This is what makes it headline material. This is why it is more than a mid-season shakeup. This is a story about personal lives spilling into professional arenas, about trust and tension, and about the fragility of even the most celebrated careers when real-life drama intersects with the game. For Travis Hunter, what might start as whispers could end up reshaping not only his season but his entire trajectory in the league. This is the kind of scandal that keeps people talking long after the final whistle. Sure, players move teams all the time for bigger contracts, better deals, or playoff chances. But Travis Hunter's situation feels different. He is supposed to be a cornerstone of the Jaguars, the player fans expected to stay for years. And now, suddenly, he may be gone in the middle of the season. Normally, if it were just about football, we would hear the usual statements. I am focused on my career. I am ready for new opportunities. But here, nothing. No posts, no comments, no emojis. That silence is raising eyebrows, especially remembering how loud and proud he was when the Jaguars drafted him. Speaking about the city, the fans, and his future now internet detectives are working overtime digging through Reddit, Twitter, TikTok, old videos, screenshots, trying to piece together the puzzle before the truth comes out. The theories are getting wilder by the hour. Everywhere you look, the same idea pops up. This is not about football. It is personal. Specifically, rumors suggest a teammate may have crossed serious boundaries with Liana. If any of this is true, then we are not just talking about bad optics. This is the kind of situation that can instantly destroy careers, break friendships, and shake a team from the inside out. What might have started as subtle tension has now grown into something that fans, insiders, and even players are noticing. At first, it was small hints, shady comments dropped online, vague posts, or messages like, check the roster or see who she has been spending time with. People whispered, speculated, and analyzed, but nothing concrete had surfaced yet. Then, gradually, names began being mentioned. Suddenly, the story was no longer just gossip. It felt real enough to make everyone pause and take notice. According to those following the rumors closely, a Jaguars player allegedly got far too comfortable around Liana. From the way people describe it, this was not some innocent misunderstanding, some small awkward moment that could be laughed off later. Instead, it was something so obvious that you did not even need to hear the full story to feel the tension in the room. The body language, the glances, the careful distance, everything hinted that something serious had happened. But despite all the speculation, nothing has been officially confirmed. The team has stayed completely silent, refusing to acknowledge the chatter. Travis Hunter himself has not said a word. No interviews, no social media posts, nothing. Meanwhile, Liana has disappeared from public view. She is off the grid entirely. No posts, no captions, no behind-the-scenes clips. For someone who once had a consistent presence online, this sudden absence is impossible to miss. Fans are noticing every tiny detail, every lapse in her usual visibility, and connecting it to the rumors circulating about her and Travis. And you know how the internet works. Silence fuels speculation, and this quiet just poured gasoline on the fire. What made this story explode was how it lined up with something fans had already seen months ago. That old clip of Liana leaning in and talking with a Jaguars player is back in circulation. This time, people are watching closely, analyzing every smile, every gesture, Every gesture, every second, like it is a crime scene. And for Jaguars fans, that is the painful part. If the player in that old clip is the same one being whispered about in the current rumors, then this tension did not appear overnight. It has been quietly building for months, and that slow buildup could explain why the team's energy started feeling off behind the scenes. Fans, insiders, and even casual observers began picking up on subtle changes, little signs that something serious was going on if you knew where to look. I even did some Zillow browsing for a house last night, just noticing the vibes. The kind of tension that seems to linger in the background but never quite hits the headlines until it explodes. Inside the locker room, you could imagine the conversations, teammates, coaches, and staff all sensing the shift, trying to gauge where Travis's head was at. Are you focusing on offense, defense, or both? Someone might ask casually, trying to break the ice or get a read on him. Travis's answer was simple, almost routine, yet it carried weight. I am going 100%. Whatever comes my way, I will give it my all. It sounded like a straightforward response about work ethic, but in context, it revealed more than just commitment on the field. He meant it full dedication, no half measures. Even while juggling pressures that most fans could never see. That answer reflected not only his professional mindset but also the heavy personal weight he seemed to be carrying. On the surface, it was just a player talking about giving his best. Beneath it, though, it hinted at a man determined to keep moving forward despite underlying tension and unresolved issues off the field. That kind of quiet focus is what separates players who can handle the spotlight from those who crack under pressure. Fans started noticing the difference too. Moments that might have seemed minor before, lack of jokes on the sidelines, standing alone during warm-ups, fewer interactions with teammates began to form a pattern. Observers realized that while he was physically present and giving his all in practice, mentally, his attention seemed elsewhere. The energy shift in the locker room, subtle as it was, suddenly made sense when you considered the possibility of months-long personal tension. Simmering in the background, it was a situation where commitment met complication. Travis was fully dedicated on the field, yet something off the field was quietly changing the entire dynamic around him. That quiet, patient build-up, seen only by those paying close attention, made it clear that what was happening was far more than a simple performance issue or a temporary distraction. It was a slow-burning story of tension, loyalty, and pressure that was only now starting to surface for everyone to see. At first, the changes were subtle, almost easy to miss if you were not paying attention. Practices began feeling tense in a way that was hard to ignore once you noticed it. Players were not clicking the way they used to. Small interactions that once felt natural, jokes on the sidelines, casual conversations, playful shoves, started disappearing. Fans, ever watchful, could sense the shift to those moments that used to bring energy and life to the team now felt muted. Guys who had once laughed and joked with Travis suddenly kept their distance. They were polite, professional, but something intangible had changed. Nothing blew up publicly. There were no dramatic statements in press conferences, no social media posts hinting at conflict, and no on-field fights. Yet, the slow, quiet shift told anyone watching closely that something serious was happening. The tension was not loud, but it was constant. A low hum beneath the surface that made even casual observers wonder what was going on. Even press conferences carried that unusual energy. Coaches and players answered questions carefully, measuring their words as if they were walking on eggshells. Nobody outright admitted there was drama, but the vibe made it clear. Something had shifted in the team. Travis was not himself. He stopped joking around with teammates, avoiding handshakes, daps, and casual interactions that used to be second nature. On the sidelines, he often stood alone, helmet in hand, staring off as if his mind was somewhere else entirely. The change was not just noticeably, was significant. For those watching the team closely, it became obvious that what they were seeing was more than just normal ups and downs. Travis's behavior hinted at personal and professional pressure quietly affecting the team dynamic, showing that even the strongest, most focused athletes can be impacted by the challenges happening off the field. If the rumors about a teammate and Liana are even partly true, it suddenly makes sense. How do you practice, travel, and share a locker room with someone you do not want to look at? Once fans realized this, the story stopped feeling like sports news and started feeling like a messy, behind-the-scenes soap opera, and tension at work never stays there. It spills over into home life, rides in the car, dinner, and even the stands. Fans began noticing small moments: a stiff hug, a turned head, a cold glance. Every clip, photo, and game day sighting started being analyzed like evidence. Remember that wedding clip where Travis leaned in and Liana quickly turned her head? Awkward. Or the game day shot where they sit tight together, talking quietly, faces serious, no drama, just tension you can feel. Put all those moments next to the teammate rumors, frozen social media accounts, and lack of public interaction, and it no longer seems coincidental. It starts to feel like a pattern. For Travis, every snap at practice probably comes with that voice in the back of his head. For Liana, every public appearance becomes a body language puzzle for fans online. People zoom in on her smiles, his stance, the distance between them. Before anyone says it is overanalyzing, these are the same small red flags many had already noticed but kept quiet. Nothing screams it is over, but everything together says one thing clearly: something is off. That slow burn tension does not appear overnight. It builds quietly until it cannot be hidden anymore. Even their attempts to ride it out quietly became noticeable. Travis started changing routines, and the changes spilled into every part of his life. He used to be everywhere: charity events, nights out with friends, surprise fan visits, relaxed and approachable. Now nothing, no casual hangouts, no goofy off-season clips, no fun meet and greets. When he shows up, it is different. No Liana, no relaxed energy, just focused, distracted, distant. Fans notice when a public figure disappears from the spotlight like that, especially someone whose life was once so open and approachable. Fans are starting to wonder if we are watching a man pull away not just from his wife, but from the world he once built around them. People began asking if Travis was avoiding more than just that one teammate. Maybe he was trying to stay out of certain situations entirely. And the timing. Perfectly messy. Right around the same weeks Travis went quiet, chatter about him and Liana exploded online. Instead of addressing it or posting something to shut down the rumors, he stayed silent, letting speculation grow into a storm. For some fans, that was the moment they realized it. Travis had already made up his mind not just about his marriage, but about whether he even wanted to stay with the team. Then came the rumor that made everything feel inevitable. Sources close to the situation claim that Travis and the teammate, at the center of all this, did not just avoid each other, they eventually confronted each other. It reportedly happened after practice, away from cameras, but still close enough for others to notice the tension. No one is sharing exactly what was said, but honestly, you do not need a transcript to guess the topic. For many fans, that was when the whispers stopped feeling like rumors and started feeling like the prelude to something major: a trade, a public split, maybe both. Because once private confrontations start, it is only a matter of time before the fallout becomes public. This was the quiet, unspoken, "it's done" moment. You do not share a field or a locker room with someone when tension is that thick. By the time the story began circulating among fans, it did not feel like gossip anymore. It felt like confirmation without a single word spoken. And while Travis kept his lips sealed, Liana's silence was louder than ever. She stopped posting online, skipped games, and disappeared from all the usual behind-the-scenes content. For someone who always had some public presence, her sudden absence was impossible to ignore. Fans noticed quickly. A short social media break is normal, but this felt different. She was actively avoiding the spotlight. No photos, no cameos, no casual sightings, nothing. It was as if she had pulled the plug on her public life entirely. Officially, both remained quiet, but behind the scenes, whispers kept circulating. The timing made it all too easy for fans to connect the dots. By then, the question was no longer if Travis would live, it was how he would do it. Right now, Travis is silent, Liana is keeping her head down, and the Jaguars are sticking to their no-comment routine. That means the only way this story explodes is if someone finally decides to speak. And when that day comes, the transfer will not be the headline. The reason behind it will. That is the part the NFL may not be ready for. So stay locked in. Like, share, comment, and subscribe, because the next twist in this saga will be one you will not want to miss.